What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video today, we're going to be covering a mega list of passive income ideas working right now in 2022. Now, I do have to say, guys, a lot of the content out there related to passive income is really drawn out. And I'm even guilty of this myself because a few years ago, I did a video on 18 passive income ideas that clocked in at over an hour long. So what we're going to be doing here instead is covering these ideas as quickly as possible as to not waste any of your time. All I ask in return, if you like that, is to drop a like on this video, or if you find any ideas that you like in particular, leave me a comment down below. Also, if you want to read along or follow along, I have a full article on this as well on my blog, and that's going to be the very top link down in the description below. If you click on that link, there's going to be a really nice table of contents there where you can click and skip ahead at any point in that article covering all of these ideas. I'm also going to be updating that frequently, so make sure you bookmark it for later. Very last thing, there's also a table of contents down below of this video, so if you want to skip ahead or back at any point in time, feel free to make use of that. Number one, we have niche YouTube reviews. So believe it or not, this video I did right here, reviewing Audible, has dominated in search over the last 2 years. It's a simple 10-minute video walking through a review of the Audible platform, pros and cons, things like that. At the end of the video, I link to my free trial of Audible down in the description below of that video, and I am affiliated with Audible. So every person that signs up with my Audible link ends up getting a free 30-day trial, but in 2021 alone, I ended up referring 765 people just from this one single video I did 2 years ago. So just in referrals alone, that means I earned about $4,000 in 2021 from one single video. So this is a consistent $300 to $400 per month in Audible referral commissions. Number two, campsite rentals. So this is basically if you were to mix the idea of having a campsite with Airbnb, and you would end up with an app called HipCamp. So I ended up using this myself over the summer when I was doing some camping out of my Jeep and sort of a cross-country road trip. You essentially offer a piece of land, and you're going to offer it for people anywhere around $20 to $40 per night to camp out on your property. Now, this could totally be passive income because a lot of these places have a carry-in, carry-out policy. So if you have any extra land, you could rent it out on HipCamp and make some passive income. Also, if you want to make more money per night, adding extra amenities like hot tubs, etc. can mean that you can charge more per night. While I haven't tried this myself yet, I did actually just buy a small piece of land in upstate New York that's right in front of a pond, so I might be testing it out myself, or I might just camp there myself and enjoy it. Number three, affiliate arbitrage. So this basically combines the concept of affiliate marketing with the concept of arbitrage. And if you're not familiar, basically affiliate marketing is earning commissions from referrals, whereas arbitrage is the process of profiting from the price difference between buying and then selling something. So here's what people end up doing. You start off by creating a blog article or a video with multiple affiliate offers associated with that content. After that, you're going to track conversions specifically for that piece of content. Next, you're going to start running paid ads to that video or content, and the goal here is to make more money in affiliate commissions than you're actually paying in advertising costs. This is a pretty advanced affiliate marketing strategy. I've never tried it myself, but if I do, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Number four, wrapping your vehicle. So if you live in an area that is well populated, or you do a lot of driving, in particular Uber, Lyft, etc., you can actually sell ad space on your car. In fact, if you live in major cities like Boston, Chicago, or New York City, and some other ones, there might actually be some existing companies you can partner with to make money putting wraps on your vehicle. Carvertise partners with a bunch of cities mentioned on that list as well as others. Specifically, this is a company that partners with Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash drivers, etc., to make extra money while driving around. So you end up, it looks like, making anywhere between $100 to $250 per month doing this, booking it through one of those companies. But if you went out and found a brand yourself and got the wrap job done, you could probably cut out the middleman and make a little bit more per month. Number 5, selling covered calls. So if you are looking to generate extra income from your portfolio, one of the options that you have is selling covered calls. Now, a lot of people are just unaware of this, but it's basically where you're going to sell a call option on shares of a stock or ETF that you own, typically as a long-term investment in your portfolio. So, for example, let's say you owned 1,000 shares of a stock. You could sell 10 call options since every contract represents 100 shares. The premium paid by whoever purchases the call options is paid to the investor, who would be you in that case, who actually owns the shares. So this is basically a strategy that some investors use to boost their overall returns. Most people, however, do this by selling covered calls on ETFs or blue chip stocks. You wouldn't want to do this with securities that fluctuate a lot in value. Ideally, you'd want something that's going to be relatively consistent in value when selling covered calls. In addition, covered calls work well when you have a price target in mind, because if the price does go up to that level, you are obligated to sell it at that price. So while it does have a good option here for making you extra money and setting a price target, the risk that you run is if there's a major move in the underlying security and it skyrockets, well, you're only going to benefit up until that strike price, and then everything above that is a benefit to the person who bought the options contract. However, if someone buys those call options, the price never gets there, and the option expires worthless, you keep that premium, which is passive income. So number 6 is online savings account. Now, most online savings accounts out there don't really earn you much in terms of passive income. At best, we're talking about maybe 50 cents per year on $100 deposited. Well, there's a really cool startup that I actually invested in called Yada Savings that's looking to shake things up a bit here. So first of all deposits are going to earn a base rate of interest that's going to be better than average. Beyond that, for every $25 deposited, you get 1 ticket into a weekly drawing. Each ticket is going to have 7 numbers, and 1 new number is drawn every single night, with the final number being drawn on Sunday. And then prizes range anywhere from a couple of cents all the way up to the jackpot of $10 million. Also, guys, this is fully FDIC insured through their partner bank, Evolve Bank and Trust, so it is a fully secure and safe way to save your money. So far on Yada, over $4 million has been paid out in prizes, as well as 2 Teslas to people who have won. Over the last year or so, I have personally earned about $2,000 in prizes, which is pretty wild, but I've also generated a lot of referrals, which does give me extra tickets. Also, that being said, guys, if you want to check it out yourself, go to yada.download and be sure to use referral code Ryan. If you do that, you're going to get 100 bonus tickets into the first week's drawing where you can win actual cash prizes. My referral link is also going to be down in the description below. Also, guys, this video is going to be supported somewhat by referral links and affiliate links. It's totally optional, but if you want to give back to me for putting this video together, feel free to use the links down in the description below. Number 7 is selling an online course. Now, this is something that's no longer a huge component of my business, but since I started out on the internet here in 2016, I have made over 6 figures in total selling online courses. Now, obviously, when you actually make that course, it's not going to be passive income, but once it's made, you can perpetually sell it, and it's a digital product, so that can be 100% passive. Now, the key here is that you have to pair this with an audience, and it often works well by pairing it with free information on a blog or YouTube channel. So pretty much all you're going to do to make a course is you're going to record videos, but instead of putting them on YouTube, simply upload them to a platform like Teachable. That's where I've personally hosted all of my courses, and I actually have a completely free course that's also hosted on Teachable that walks you through how to launch an online course step by step and that is called Course Creation Companion. That's going to be down in the description below. Everything going forward, guys, that I mentioned is going to be down there, but I'm not going to waste your time, so I'm just not going to keep repeating that over and over. Now, on Teachable, you can offer both free as well as paid courses, which gives you different angles. For example, I have made free courses in the past that are monetized with affiliate links. Even though it's free, I do end up making money in the process. So there's a lot of different angles for making money with online courses. Number 8 is credit card rewards. Now, this comes with a major caveat, and that is assuming you're able to use credit cards responsibly, which is not the case for everyone out there. That's basically the whole point of credit cards, is some people are going to use them responsibly and pay off all their balances every month. Other people are not, and it's that basket of people that keep the credit card companies in business. However, if you know how to work the system and you simply get the rewards and pay no interest, this can be an easy source of passive income. Now, most credit cards out there are going to get you miles or cash back, but that cash back usually has to be used for purchasing or applied to your bill. There's actually now credit cards today that allow you to earn actual assets as a reward for your spending. For example, there is a BlockFi credit card that allows you to earn Bitcoin as your reward. So essentially how this works is it's an unlimited 1.5% cash back crypto rewards Visa card that has no annual fee. So just to do some numbers here, guys, the average monthly debit transaction total is around $550 per month, which is about $6,600 per year. If all of that spending was on a 1.5% cash back card that earns you Bitcoin, you would have actually earned about $99 in Bitcoin in a single year, not even counting any type of appreciation. Number 9 is creating a membership site, and this is also something I have done in the past. One of the problems that I found with online courses is that although it can be a decent source of passive income, it's really not consistent at all. One month you might have 2 sales, the next month you might have 15. So in terms of having predictable income, you're just not going to have that with online courses. So one way around this is by setting up a membership site, or pretty much setting up a mini Netflix where you put a bunch of content behind a paywall, and then you're going to charge a monthly subscription. Now, you can also do this right on Teachable, which is where I did my membership site called Stock Radar in the past. So you don't have to worry about any of that crazy back-end coding, etc. They do all of that for you and handling payments, etc. And I was actually able to build up my membership site, Stock Radar, to about $6,000 of monthly recurring revenue. I'll tell you what, guys, I did make some mistakes with my membership site, and one of them was pricing it too high. So I eventually, closed down the membership site, but the key with it is to always charge a price that isn't enough where people are going to want to end up canceling. So if you charge too much money, they're going to cancel it. If you charge a small enough amount, they're probably going to keep it in case they're going to use it in the future. So number 10 here is earning free crypto. So we've all heard of Coinbase. It's pretty much the most popular exchange out there for buying and selling crypto, but a lot of people are not aware of the feature known as Coinbase Earn, where you get paid in crypto to learn about crypto. Now, obviously, while you're learning about it, it's not going to be passive income, but if you end up earning some free crypto and holding on to it for the long term, now you have the potential to earn passive income. So me personally, a few months ago, I took about 20 minutes on a Sunday and I did all of the quizzes on my app as well as my fiance's, and we ended up each getting like 15 or 20 bucks, something like that, worth of free cryptocurrency. So what you can basically do is put your brain to work, earn some assets, and then potentially earn passive income in the process. Also, if you're not a Coinbase user already, be sure to use my referral link to get $10 worth of free Bitcoin when you sign up. Next up, number 11 is real estate investing. Now, this has been really tricky for a lot of people over the last few years because real estate prices have absolutely exploded. Even when people were thinking that the market was going to cool off, well, prices are still climbing higher and higher. Well, if you're completely out of the real estate market, but you want to have some exposure, one of my recommendations is checking out crowdfunded real estate. This is where people from all over the country are pooling money together, which is then invested typically in portfolios of real estate. So one of those platforms is Fundrise, and I've been partnered with them for a number of years now. They used to have a $500 minimum to invest, but very recently they just dropped that down to $10. So if you have $10, you yourself can invest in privately owned real estate through Fundrise. Also, guys, 2021 was really a crazy year for the stock market and real estate and, asset prices altogether. But I did want to point out that in 2021, across all client accounts, the average return for Fundrise in 2021 was 22.99%. Now, obviously, you can't expect that to happen every single year, but that is an absolute blowout return here for Fundrise investors, as well as just real estate investors in general. I also have a completely free ebook on crowdfunded real estate investing if you're interested, so be sure to check that out if you want to as well. Number 12 is opening up a brokerage account. If you don't have a stock trading account yet, or even if you do and you want another one, you can simply open up accounts and get free stocks in the process. Now, when you get that free stock, you can either keep it or you have the option to sell it. If you sell it, you're able to eventually withdraw that money to your bank account, or you can reinvest it into something else. So Robinhood is a 100% commission-free trading app that gives users a free stock when they sign up for an account, and that stock value is anywhere between $3 and $225 based on a random lottery system. Now, you might laugh at me about this, guys, but technically speaking, if you wanted to turn that free stock into a mini passive income stream, you could enable fractional shares on Robinhood, sell off your free stock, purchase a dividend stock or ETF, and then enable automatic dividend reinvestment, and then completely forget about that and have a very mini passive income machine sitting there earning you compound interest every time a dividend is paid out. Number 13 is refinancing debt. Now, I know what you might be saying. How could refinancing debt lead to earning passive income? Well, in my case here, I was actually able to cut down the mortgage of my rental property by $600 per month through a refinance back in 2020. So this is basically where you're taking out a new loan that replaces an older one. So right now, interest rates are still at record lows. So if you have any type of auto loan, student loans, mortgage, etc., from maybe 5 years ago or anywhere prior to that, or even in the last few years, you might be able to refinance at a much lower rate and save yourself on that monthly bill in the process. So if you have student loans, for example, consider refinancing them with SoFi, which you can do 100% online, and it's a very easy process and application. Refinancing your debt is going to reduce your cash outflows, and then you could actually take that extra money and invest it into other assets, which could then make you even more passive income. Number 14 is investing in artwork. Now, believe it or not, artwork is one of the oldest investments out there, and that is because art has held value in society for thousands of years. Now, the ultra wealthy have invested in this asset class for centuries, but traditionally it's been very difficult for smaller investors to get in because many of these paintings are millions of dollars, which people just don't have that much money to put into one single painting. Now, believe it or not, contemporary art had an annual appreciation of 13.6% from 1995 to 2021. And if you compare that to the S&P 500, or the average stock market return, that was just 9.5% over the same period. Now, while there's no guarantee that is going to last forever, this is a long-term trend at this point, and artwork has had a good history of solid returns that have even beat the stock market. Now, Masterworks is a platform out there that allows people to buy shares of blue chip artwork in $20 increments. The only stipulation is the minimum investment is $500 to get started. I ended up doing an investment with them over the summer, and I put $500 into purchasing 25 shares of a piece of artwork called Kosha on Masterworks. I'll put it up on the screen. If my pronunciation is wrong, I do apologize, but I'll be holding on to this as a long-term investment just to see what happens. What's crazy as well is that after fees, the average return so far from Masterworks since inception has been 15.8% annually. So if you guys want to check out Masterworks, be sure to use my invite link because you might be able to get in faster, being eligible for investment. Number 15 is crypto staking. So most people out there are just going to buy and hold their crypto, either leaving it in their wallet or basically within the exchange that they are using. Staking is a way of earning rewards over time by putting your crypto to work. Now, keep in mind, this does require you to lock up your assets for a period of time, which is often referred to as a number of cycles. During that period of time, you cannot sell it. So if the prices are going crazy either direction, you are locked in. Now, if you choose to stake your crypto, you're actually earning rewards for participating automatically in the proof of stake, which is actually how transactions are verified. Now, I personally do this over on OKCoin with my very small position in Miami Coin. Guys, that's where I live right now, so I decided to invest in that crypto just because I think it's an interesting concept. So I have that staked with OKCoin, which allows me to earn rewards that are paid out in STX, which is a totally separate crypto. Now follow along here, guys, but you're then able to stake that STX and earn rewards paid out in Bitcoin. So in a long roundabout process, by earning STX, you can then eventually earn Bitcoin rewards. They also support staking of a ton of other cryptos, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you don't have an OKCoin account yet, you do get $10 of free Bitcoin if you use my referral link. Number 16, Airbnb hosting. Now, this is something I have tried myself many years ago. I actually listed a spare room in my house on Airbnb just to test it out. It ended up being a lot of work, so I basically just didn't continue it afterwards, but I did make about $1,000 doing it for 1 month. Now, keep in mind, that was back in 2019, and since then, prices for Airbnbs have climbed even higher. Now, obviously, operating an Airbnb yourself is not going to be passive, but if you eventually have a bunch of them, you can have someone manage it for you, and that can actually become a passive source of income at that point in time. Another strategy people follow is called Airbnb Arbitrage, and this is where you don't actually own the real estate, you in fact borrow it from someone else or lease it. So the idea with that is you lease an apartment in a popular area where you're allowed to do Airbnb, then you furnish it, list it on Airbnb, probably find someone who's going to manage it and clean it for you, and then at that point you want to make more money from your listing than it's costing you to rent out that apartment. So if you're curious, guys, check out that free Airbnb earnings calculator as well as my completely free ebook on tips for getting started with Airbnb. Number 17, investing in farmland. Now, believe it or not, farmland has actually become a pretty trendy investment over the last few years, and that's largely because Bill Gates came out as the largest private farmland owner in the United States. Now, what's cool about farmland is you're able to actually earn returns from it in 2 different ways. Number 1 is going to be the land value increasing over time. However, you're only going to realize that gain when you sell the land. But number 2 is earning rent from farmers renting out that land. Now, obviously, if you go out and buy land yourself and try to rent it out to a farmer, this is not going to be completely passive because there are some management duties. However, there are platforms out there such as AcreTrader that offer farmland investments that are fully managed, making this a completely passive source of income. So AcreTrader lists new farms every single week that you're able to invest in if you are an accredited investor. The minimum investment varies per farm because they basically take a farm, break it up into chunks, and then each chunk is 1 share. So based on the farm price, it's going to vary the minimum, but it tends to be around $10,000 to $20,000. Also, guys, I have a completely separate blog I started about a year ago called Farmland Riches that's all about farmland investing. So if you're curious about farmland investing in general, be sure to check that out. Also, check out AcreTrader to view live farmland investment deals now, and there's new ones going up every single week. Number 18 is crypto lending. So another option that you have while you own crypto is if you're not looking to stake it and you want to basically have the option for liquidity where you're still able to sell it, what a lot of people do is they actually lend out tokens in an exchange and earn interest in the process. So basically, major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum are non-yield bearing assets, which means you don't earn dividends, you don't typically earn anything back. It's kind of like holding on to gold, where the only way to make money from it is buying it and then selling it for a higher price later. Lending it out to large exchanges enables investors to earn a yield, and that kind of makes it so you can potentially get paid in two different ways with cryptocurrencies. Now, do keep in mind here that crypto deposits are not insured by any federal insurance because they're not recognized as a federal asset. Some exchanges are going to have their own insurance policies, so be sure to look into that on your own. So just be aware that there are additional risks with lending, which is why you're able to make extra money from it in terms of the return. Number 19 is dividend investing, and this is one of my most well-known and favorite sources of passive income. This is when you get paid for owning a stock, typically on a quarterly basis. Now, I personally invested a ton of money into blue chip stocks during the crash we saw in 2020. Now, while I did sell off most of those, I still have a large position in a limited partnership known as Global Partners, and my position in this stock is around $50,000. Now, when I initially bought this, the yield was actually above 10%, but since then, the price has gone up for this LP, so the yield has gone down a little bit. But nonetheless, this allows me to earn about $5,000 passively per year in passive income, assuming that dividend yield stays consistent. And so the last quarterly dividend I earned was pretty huge, and it was over $1,000. Now, I personally invest with M1 Finance, especially with my dividend stocks. That way I can take advantage of the automatic rebalancing as well as automated reinvesting features to earn compound interest. I also have a completely free 30-minute video training that walks you through step-by-step how to get started with M1 Finance as well as dividend investing, so be sure to check out both of those if you are interested. Number 20 is single-family rentals. Now, single-family homes were really not considered to be a good investment for a long time. In fact, people like Robert Kiyosaki have said they're really not an investment at all. However, in recent years, demand for single-family homes has surged as a lot of people exited big cities. Certain markets in the country, single-family homes have gone up by nearly double, if not more. Now, unfortunately, it's difficult to capitalize on real estate markets that you don't live in due to the management activities associated with owning real estate. Well, there's companies out there like Roofstock that offer a marketplace where you can buy and sell managed single-family real estate properties. In addition, these properties are certified and even come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, you're going to want to check out Roofstock on your own to learn more about that guarantee, but this is a really cool way to gain exposure to real estate outside of your local market. Next up, number 21 is crypto borrowing. So one of the things I took advantage a lot of this year was crypto-backed loans. I'm actually in the process of flipping a house right now in Miami, so I had to basically at times get a little extra money here and there, so I was doing a lot of crypto borrowing using BlockFi. This is basically where you put up crypto as collateral and then get a US dollar loan against that collateral. Now, usually it is paid out in US dollar coin if you want it to be as quick as possible, but you can also have these loans paid out to your bank account depending on what you plan on doing with the funds. So I did multiple crypto-backed loans this year over on BlockFi. What I love is that there's no fees of any kind, there's no credit check, and you can get your money deposited the same business day. So if you're in a pinch and you need some funds, you can get like 50% loan to value on your major crypto holdings during the same day. So if you want to be able to get some money for your necessities or other investments, but you don't want to basically sell off your crypto, you still own and benefit from the upside, or you also have the downside as well to consider. But the point is, you still keep your crypto holdings, you're just borrowing against them. So how can this end up earning you passive income? Well, let me tell you what I ended up doing a few times this year, which was opening up loans when crypto prices were low and then covering those loans with the collateral when prices are high, because you're able to pay off that loan using the crypto that you are borrowing against. So let's say you borrowed 10K against 20K of Bitcoin. back when the price of Bitcoin was $35,000. Well, let's now say you get that $10,000 and then you decide to put it in other investments. That can be risky, and for me personally, I was putting it into real estate, so I was okay with it, but I wouldn't recommend, for example, putting it into additional crypto because that's way more volatile. But let's say, for example, you borrow that money, you get your 10 grand, and then a few months later, Bitcoin has doubled to 70,000. Well, your collateral with BlockFi has doubled as well. It's now worth 40,000. So you can cover your $10,000 loan with your collateral and get back your $30,000. So you took 20 grand of Bitcoin in this scenario, got 10 out of it, and then later on got 30K worth of Bitcoin back, and you covered your loan with that collateral. Now, do keep in mind, that's only one way that this works. It also works in the other direction, where if asset prices go down, you might actually be required to post more collateral and deposit more of the crypto, or you risk having your assets sold. This did happen to me, and there were times when, in a frenzy, I was having to buy Ethereum and top off my loan collateral to make sure I didn't get liquidated. So make sure you learn more about that, guys, before you do any crypto-backed loans, but it was an awesome source of passive income for me this year. Next, we have a portfolio line of credit or home equity line of credit. So another source of borrowing that I use quite a bit is a PLOC, portfolio line of credit. This is basically where you're borrowing against securities such as stocks or ETFs. So I personally use M1 Borrow, which is a part of M1 Finance. And since I have about 100 grand invested with them, and the borrow rate is up to 35% of the value of supported stocks and ETFs in your portfolio, this gives me a flexible line of credit of about $35,000. Now, the typical borrow rate is 3.5%, but if you have a M1 Plus membership, which I do, that drops your borrow rate to 2%. So basically what I have here is a flexible 2% interest, $35,000 line of credit that I can use as needed. Now again, keep in mind the same risk applies here with crypto, where if the underlying assets decline substantially, you could end up having your collateral liquidated. That's why you would only want to do this with, blue chip stocks and things that you don't expect to fluctuate a ton in value. Also, with M1 Finance, you can have that money transferred right out to your bank account, and then later on, you can pay off that loan using the assets in your portfolio. So, for example, if you borrowed $10,000, had that moved to your bank, and then your portfolio grows in value over, let's say, 6 months, to that same value of maybe $10,000 of gains, you could sell off a little bit and pay off your loan, and you would be all square. So what some people end up doing is they'll use a line of credit to purchase another asset, which could enable you to earn passive income. However, do understand investing borrowed money is going to be, risky, and you should definitely consider this before you decide to end up doing that. So that is a way people do it, especially with a home equity line of credit, but just keep in mind, investing borrowed money is risky. Moving on, number 23 is something called a 1031 exchange. There's a lot of different ways that real estate can make you passive income outside of just investing in it and then having asset appreciation or collecting rent. This is a way to actually keep a lot of the money or the passive income that you earned from the real estate when you decide to sell it. So typically speaking, most money in real estate is made when you eventually sell a property, which can usually result in a huge cash windfall and subsequent taxes. Now, a 1031 exchange can help in some cases because it allows you to delay the taxes owed by reinvesting the proceeds into a like-kind investment property within a certain window of time. Now, this does have to be an investment property, so it doesn't apply to your primary residence, unfortunately. There's also very specific rules that you have to follow, but you can basically roll the proceeds forward tax-free over and over and over with the 1031 exchange if you wanted to. Again, there's some more specific rules that you're going to want to look into if you decide to do this, but one thing I will point you towards is there's a platform out there called Equity Multiple that's an online crowdfunded real estate platform that also offers 1031 exchange eligible investment offerings. Number 24 is investing in precious metals. Now, while it's not the most common source of passive income out there, precious metals can in fact still be a source of passive income. Now, as we mentioned earlier, things like gold, silver, etc. are not yield-bearing assets. So the only way to make money from them is by buying them at a low price or the market price today and then selling them for a higher price at a later point in time. Now, a lot of people are investing more money into precious metals at a time like this because in the past, metals like gold have been effective hedges against inflation as well as recessions. Now, since there is a fixed or finite supply of gold and precious metals out there, a lot of people are fleeing to these assets based on this record level of money printing by governments all over the world. So with inflation currently at a multi-decade high, a lot of people are fleeing to gold, silver, and other precious metals. So if you're interested, guys, check out the app One Gold if you're looking for an easy way to purchase vaulted gold, silver, or platinum. Basically, it's an app that allows you to invest in vaulted gold and silver. However, you're also able to request physical redemption of metals at any point in time right within the app. Number 25 is niche blogging. So I actually own multiple blogs out here on the internet aside from just my personal website here. So Farmland Riches, as I said earlier, is my website related to investing in farmland, which has guides, reviews, and comparisons. And then there's another blog I own called Investing Simple, which is a catch-all personal finance blog, which mostly focuses on commission-free trading apps. Now, while I can't share exact figures due to having partners in both blogs, I will tell you that Farmland Riches makes a few $1,000s passively every month, whereas Investing Simple makes tens of thousands every single month. So these are major passive income sources for me. Number 26 is storage rentals. Now, my multifamily property that I have actually has a pretty large barn on the property, and while I've never actually rented it out myself, I was told I could earn about $250 per month by doing so. In addition, I've also rented out storage for vehicles in the past, and I've rented things like a small garage for around $75 per month. So if you have any unused space right now, carport, etc., clean it out and consider renting it to someone to earn some extra passive income. However, be sure to check beforehand in terms of what insurances you might need if you're storing somebody's vehicles or something like that. Idea number 27 is to simply go out and get a roommate. If you can find the right roommate, this can actually be a really easy source of passive income. So a while back, I had one of my business partners crashing with me for about 8 or 9 months or something, and he was throwing me like $500 per month, and him and I, got along well. I pretty much barely knew he was there half the time, so that was a pretty easy source of extra passive income for me. So you can typically make an extra $400 to $700 a month just by getting a roommate, depending on where you live. Or you could do a multiple roommate situation and try to actually cover your entire rent or mortgage cost. Idea number 28 is selling leads online. So this is a simple concept that's largely overlooked. There's a ton of businesses out there performing services that have no clue how to do social media ads or anything like that. So imagine if you were able to partner with them where, for example, if you partnered with a landscaping company and you were getting paid per lead and then you were running ads on social media for free landscaping quotes in that specific area. So you could negotiate a deal like that where, again, your goal is to make more money in referral commissions or selling those leads versus paying out in advertising costs. Or if you didn't want to pay for traffic, you could follow the SEO approach and use free search traffic by targeting local search terms around that service. Number 29 is selling stock photos. So if you're interested in photography, there's a lot of sites out there that will pay you for the rights to use your photos. Now, one of the most popular is Shutterstock, but I will say this, if you're looking to earn passive income, the best way to do that is to collect a royalty on some of your very best photos. That would mean that every time someone licensed that photo, you would earn a cut of the profit. Now, unfortunately, what has become more popular today is something called microstock, which is a royalty-free sale of your photos, where you're usually being paid around 10 cents to $10 per photo. So that might not be passive income, but it is an easy way to make money if you do have a ton of photos lying around that you want to try to sell. Idea number 30 is the ATM machine business. So this is going to work better if you have good relationships with business owners in your local area. And the idea here is once you have enough machines, you can hire someone to manage it or possibly contract it out to another company. A typical new machine is going to be $3 to $4 grand. But if you're looking for a decent used model, you're probably talking about $1,500. Now, in an ideal situation, the business owner is going to have a benefit because people are likely going to spend the cash at that business. However, you may also have to cut a deal with the business owner where you're giving them a percentage of total fees collected. Now, the general goal in the ATM business is to recoup your original investment in that machine within 6 months of operation. So the current average surcharge for an ATM is around $3 right now, and at 10 transactions per day, you could probably make about $30 per day in profit from a well-placed ATM machine. However, there's a ton of factors to consider here, such as foot traffic, as well as how many days a business is even in operation. So idea number 31, guys, is selling an ebook. Now, back in 2016, this is something I did myself, where I created an ebook about stock market investing that I sold at $14 per copy. Now, on the very best day that I had, I ended up selling 3 copies and earning $42 of passive income. Now, while I no longer sell ebooks, this is a way that some people earn money passively, and typically the goal here is to build up a portfolio of multiple different ebooks that you're making money from. So the way most people do this is through Kindle Direct Publishing, and this is a way that you're able to upload books for free to Amazon and earn a range of about 35 to 70% of the sale price in royalties collected. Since it's a digital product, there's no physical delivery, so it can be totally passive. And what most people do to make money is they actually do ebooks about nonfiction topics such as guides or tutorials that people might be searching for on Amazon, and then hopefully they buy your ebook in the process. Number 32 is upselling a service. So we're back to the topic of arbitrage here, and it's mentioned a lot because this is one of the best ways to earn passive income out there is by basically, making money by marking up another service or something that somebody else is doing for you. So let's say, for example, you are offering transcription services for Zoom and Google meetings, which is something people actually do. You could make a website where you're basically doing this for a cost of $2.50 per minute, but then you could connect yourself with someone overseas and potentially pay them 50% of that cost per minute to do the actual work. Now, obviously, you'd have to review the information before and make sure it looked good, but you can make money by outsourcing work and upselling services. Now, some people do ask if that's taking advantage of overseas workers, but a lot of places such as the Philippines, their local wages are so poor that these are actually really good opportunities for them, and they typically really appreciate this kind of work. Hey guys, if you've made it this far and you're still watching the video, please make sure you drop a like if you've enjoyed the content so far. Also, I'm always curious how many people make it to the end of this video. So we're coming up to number 33, which is one of my favorite numbers out there. So if you have a favorite number, guys, leave that as a comment down below, just because I'm curious how many people are making it to the end of this video. But this idea here is WordPress website management. And another word that people really love in the passive income world is the word retainer. We're not talking about dental equipment here. We're talking about a monthly retainer, which is where you pay a business a set rate per month in case you need to utilize their services. So here's how you might end up doing this. Let's say you charge a fee out there for building WordPress websites for clients, but then thereafter you offer ongoing maintenance or update packages for a set monthly price. So for example, let's say you charge $49 per month for up to 2 monthly updates for the site content. Obviously, if they're going to need help that month, it's not passive, but if 6 months go by and they haven't requested any changes, you're making that $50 passively every single month. Now, the benefit here to your client is they know that if they need something, they can reach out to you and you can change things very quickly. But the other option here is you can actually outsource that work to other people who are actually completing the work. Not to mention, a lot of the tasks associated with updating and managing a WordPress website can be fully automated, so you can basically charge money for tasks that you're actually automating for the most part on the back end, and then you just have to manage and oversee the whole process. So number 34 is selling SVG designs. With the rise of sites like Etsy and then, things like the Cricut machines and other DIY craft companies, more and more people are looking for designs to use. So there's many sites out there that offer free SVG designs, but you typically have to pay a little bit of money if you're looking to get something that is very specific. So if you're not familiar, an SVG is like digital clip art of something that you might be using for a project, and you're able to sell these online. Now, since it's a fully digital product, there's no order fulfillment, and that means you can make passive income by selling SVGs on sites like Etsy and then automating the delivery. So you're typically looking to sell an SVG between $1 to $5 per file, but you can also create bundles of SVGs for a larger price to make more money. Number 35 is buying a car wash. Obviously, you're gonna have to have some money to deploy here, but if you do, this could be an interesting way to make some passive income. So there's around 286 million cars in the United States, and believe it or not, it's actually recommended to wash your car every 2 weeks. Now, most people don't do this, but some people certainly do. Now, many car washes out there are fully automated, which means there's nobody operating the actual car wash, and it's all automatic, which gives you the opportunity for passive income to be made. You have machines out front taking card payments, and people simply drive in for self-service. Now, if you were looking to buy a car wash, you should expect to pay in the range of $1 to $5 million, which is a lot of money. However, after doing some research online, you can hope to make about $150K of annual revenue from a car wash, and after paying for maintenance, repairs, supplies, water, electricity, etc., you would hope to profit around $90,000 on that car wash. So if it costs you $1 million and you're looking at like a 9% return, that might not be too bad. So finally here, coming in at number 36 is cryptocurrency mining. Now, the prospects associated with crypto mining aren't what they used to be many years ago, but it is still possible to make passive income from this source because you're basically plugging something in that's using electricity. And again, we come back to this concept of arbitrage. The goal is to make more money in your crypto mining efforts than you do your costs for electricity, internet, etc. Now, mining for mainstream coins like Bitcoin is not likely to be profitable for small investors, and that's because large-scale mining operations have really cornered the market, and we had a blockchain reward halving not too long ago, so there's even less meat on the bone. What you're better off doing is figuring out how to mine for smaller altcoins with the hopes of getting in early on one of the next big tokens. Now, obviously, you're going to have some foresight into the future and pick the right token to be mining, but the idea here is to be mining a token that eventually grows tremendously in value. If it ends up not, then you could be wasting money on electricity, mining something that ultimately becomes close to worthless. Now, the equipment required is going to vary based on the different tokens, but mining rigs tend to cost around $3,000 up to $10,000. So it's a decent chunk of change you have to invest. That's why you want to make sure you're knowledgeable of crypto and do your research beforehand. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I plan on updating my article over on my blog with new passive income ideas in the future. So if you want to check it out, guys, be sure to click on that top link in the description and then bookmark that page for future reference. Also, guys, probably like 30 hours or something crazy worth of work went into this video and me writing that massive article. So if you think you might have a friend or family member, anybody like that who might enjoy the video, please be sure to share it with a friend. One last shot here. If you don't mind dropping a like for the YouTube algorithm, that would be great. And if you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. As mentioned earlier, there's affiliate and referral links down below if you decide you want to support me for this video, but if not, I greatly appreciate you tuning in. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next video.